I'm Carmine Gallo, communications coach and author, The Presentation Secrets of Steve Jobs. It's a book that will help you sell, express, and communicate your ideas more persuasively than you've ever imagined. Steve Jobs is the most captivating communicator on the world stage. He is the world's greatest corporate storyteller. There's something like 40,000 clips, video clips of Steve Jobs presentations on YouTube that reflects the intense interest that people have in his keynotes around the world. I wrote a Business Week column on the subject, and it really turned out to be a hit with readers, not only in the US and North America, but around the world. Steve Jobs has elevated product launches to an art form. Every slide is written like a piece of poetry. Every presentation created like a theatrical experience. I think this book is as close as you'll ever get to having the master himself speak directly in your ear as you craft and deliver the story behind your brand. As a communications coach for some of the world's most admired brands, I can watch a presentation and tell you exactly what a speaker is doing to engage his audience. So I've literally watched hundreds of hours of Steve Jobs presentations over the years. But in addition, I am a journalist, I am an author, so I interviewed some of the best graphic design professionals in the business, as well as people who have worked directly with Steve Jobs at Apple. So what you're getting in this book is a collection of their insights. There are 18 chapters in the book, so there's plenty of tips and advice. But here are 3 that you can put to use immediately. First, even before you begin a presentation, don't open the software like PowerPoint. Start by drawing, sketching, thinking. Think about how you're going to present the information visually. Steve Jobs likes to whiteboard, for example. So do not start by opening the presentation. The second tip. When you do open your PowerPoint or Apple Keynote, whatever program you're using, try to avoid bullet points. There are no bullet points in a Steve Jobs presentation. He uses plenty of images and some text. Scientists are finding that the best way to communicate information is through text and images combined, and not text alone. And finally, practice. Steve Jobs rehearses over many hours, over many days to get everything just right. So 3 things to improve your next presentation. Practice, avoid bullet points, and before you begin, think, sketch, draw, brainstorm. The book is software agnostic. What that means is it doesn't matter whether you're a PC or a Mac. It doesn't matter if you're using PowerPoint or Apple Keynote or another software program. The big lesson is how to present and express your ideas more persuasively. It's not about the slides, it's about the stories. Now the slides complement the story, but the story has to come first. Most people give presentations to deliver information. Steve Jobs creates an experience. It's infotainment, meant to inform, educate, and to entertain. Steve Jobs actually has fun giving presentations. When's the last time you had fun delivering a presentation? But he also creates a sense of drama. And this is a technique that goes all the way back really to 1984 when he first introduced Macintosh. He was giving a presentation or a speech to a group of sales executives at Apple. And at the time, IBM, which was known as Big Blue, was really the main competitor to Apple. So he created this dramatic story about IBM, Big Blue, bent on world domination. IBM was going to conquer the computer industry, but Apple would be the last company to stand in its way. It was very dramatic stuff, and of course everybody went nuts. But this is a consistent theme in all his presentations, this hero-villain. You can even make the argument that the I'm a Mac, I'm a PC ads that you see on television are hero-villain vignettes in 30-second ads. So that's a very important technique to use in persuasive presentations. Every great presentation needs an enemy so that people can rally around the hero. And the hero is you. Your product, your company, your brand. I'm not wearing a black blue jeans and running shoes like Steve Jobs would be if he were given this interview, because he's Steve Jobs, and I'm not. Seriously, but if I had reinvented the computer industry, the phone industry, the music industry, I guess I could dress any way I want. But there is a serious answer to this. Steve Jobs is a showman, and the way he dresses, his wardrobe is actually very appropriate for the culture. But there's a little known story. When Steve Jobs was not at Apple for a period of time during the 80s and 90s, he started another company called Next. When he went to the bank to ask for a loan, he wore an expensive Brioni suit. So Steve Jobs is a showman. That means he dresses appropriately for the culture and for the audience. The big lesson: don't deliver a presentation just to give information. Create an experience out of it.